Are you ready?
Hey.
Hey, how's it going, Bryce? How much of your time do I have today?
Maybe 15, 20 minutes, if that's okay. I'm technically supposed to be at work, but we'll be fine.
Okay. We're ready to get this show on the road, so sit back, relax, and let's get the show started.
Break some damn shot, boy. Is that the message you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? From the fans to the fans, let me hear the crowd pop. So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot, boy. Is that the message you got? From the fans to the fans, let me hear the crowd pop. So take a shot. Oh yeah, so take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Oh, so take a shot.
If you're ready and willing, I'm able, and welcome to another exciting edition of A Shot of Wrestling, the interviews. If you've not done so already, follow us on all forms of social media at A Shot of Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, and Shot of Wrestling No A on Twitter. You can also contact us via email at inbox@ashotofwrestling.com or dial it up 619-343-3005 and leave your comments on A Shot of Wrestling hotline. Now we say it time and time again that wrestling brings us together, and today is no different. Today, we are joined by Chikara senior official and newly signed AEW referee, Bryce Remsburg.
Wow, that is quite the intro. I'm happy to be able to be here this fine day to talk about all the great stuff happening in the professional wrestling world right now, specifically Chikarasaurus Rex, which is going to be here before you know it, Saturday afternoon, September 7 in Philadelphia at the Wrestle Factory. Thank you so much for having me. Sometimes I like two shots in my wrestling, but we'll start with one.
We'll start with one. Maybe by the end of the day here with us, we'll probably have a few more than just one. You know, wrestling is at its peak right now, and a lot of great things are happening to great people, you being one of them, because you recently just signed a multi-year contract with AEW. That's amazing. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. It's an exciting adventure that is only beginning. I don't know where the next couple of years take me, but I'm excited to be on the ride to experience it with all of you. It's AEW. It's a very exciting time in wrestling. I think AEW is doing a lot of exciting things. They have the capability and the bandwidth and the opportunity to do things that a lot of others are not able to do. And I believe in their vision. I have great relationships so far with everybody in power. And like I said, I'm excited to be on the ride. Let's ride the roller coaster together.
Now, before you shared your contract on social media, who was the first person you shared the news with?
My wife. She was actually home from work that day. We went over. I told my wife first. I told my sister second. My sister and I have been watching wrestling since I was 8 and she was 6. We used to go to WWF house shows at the Hershey Park Arena in 1991, 92, 93 together. She was,
That's amazing.
So pretty much our entire lives, we've been intertwined and involved with the wrestling world. So she was the second person I told, but my wife was first for sure.
Now, I have a younger sister, and I was the big wrestling fan. She really wasn't, so sorry for her for putting on like razor's edges and sharpshooters. What was your favorite move to put on your sister?
Figure 4 leg lock. Yep, you named it. That was one that it was something that seemed a little bit complicated. I could figure it out, and it actually hurt, so it seemed like we were doing something real. I later used to fancy the DDT to varying degrees of safety.
Did she learn the reversal to how to
Eventually, in due time, yes. Once we got a trampoline in the backyard, it was next level.
Okay. Now, AEW is changing the game. I gotta be honest. It's changing the game. It's given a boost to the wrestling scene today. What do you think is a large part due to that success?
I think that the opportunity is right for a new game in town. I think, WWE, not that it's an opposition direct head-to-head thing, but WWE has been operating virtually unopposed. They've had a monopoly on the grand scheme of the international marketplace for 18 years now. And they do a lot of great things. They have tons of very, very talented employees, but the high tide kind of rises all the ships. I think this is, a lot of people are worried about the independents. I think the independents are going to be just fine. There's many opportunities. All the roles that were filled in AEW, there's going to be a whole new crop of guys and girls filling those roles that they have vacated on the indies. There's so much talent out there. Much of it we've never even heard of yet.
Right.
I've out on the road doing seminars, visiting schools. There's so many people incubating that you haven't heard of yet that you're going to hear of in 6, 12, 18, 24 months. Many of the newer crop of Chikara students are very talented. You're going to be hearing a lot from them over the next couple of years. And it's an exciting time for wrestling across the board. When WWE's ratings and everything were at its highest and interest of pro wrestling as a whole, the last boom era was the Attitude Era. It was when WWE had competition, when ECW existed. And it hasn't really been since then, since the late 90s, early 2000s, that it's really captivated the nation like that. And I think there's an opportunity to do that with AEW. AEW is going to make WWE try harder. WWE is going to make AEW try harder. WWE and AEW are going to make the indies try harder. Everybody's going to win with what's about to happen, I believe. And it's just exciting time for wrestlers, wrestling talent, wrestling staff members, and most of all, the fans.
Now, the host to our show has been very vocal about saying, I'm not going to make my decision up on what AEW is right now. I'm going to wait till it comes to TV. So there are a lot of critics who are waiting for that big television debut. You will be there. What are your thoughts of how it's going to maintain interest on a week-to-week basis?
I can't say. I have to say that I believe in the folks that are in charge. I believe in their vision. I'm sure they've already discussed this and have this all mapped out. And I'm excited to see what they come up with. I implore everyone to give it a chance, though. Nothing like this has been on this level. And like I said, 18 years. Watch a couple episodes. Give it a couple weeks. See if it's for you. Tell a friend. Just give it a try and see what you think. Give AEW an opportunity to win your business, to win your interest, to win your viewership. Maybe it makes you want to go to an event. Maybe it makes you want to buy a T-shirt. Maybe it makes you want to tell a friend. That's how these things work, little by little by little by little. That's how Chikara has always worked. The biggest obstacle for us has always been ignorance. People telling their friends, people bringing their friends along to events. Like it's really just the best. So I'm excited to see what happens. I think by Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year time, we'll have a much better idea, and it'll be easier for us all to answer questions like this. The fear of the unknown is sometimes exciting.
Oh, it's very exciting. And if you're not into AEW yet, I definitely implore you to go check it out because it's been like top notch. It's been an amazing experience. And the crowd actually is part of that experience. Everybody comes back saying, wow, the crowd is like unreal. Like you've never experienced something like that before. I've never gone to an event where the crowd has been so hyped. Yeah,
no, it's an unreal feeling being there live. And I very much hope that this continues, and if people are sharing this with their friends and they're excited about it as I am, and so many fans are. Washington D.C., the first TV event sold out in 3 or 4 hours. Boston, Philadelphia on the docket. Two great wrestling cities, two great wrestling cities that have been great to me, been great to Chikara over the years. Very excited for what comes next.
Now, you mentioned earlier you're a family man. How is it going to change the balance between you as the family man and you being on the road for AEW and your day-to-day routine?
Well, it's kind of crazy because all the time I've been involved with wrestling, I've also had a day job. And this will be the first time my full energy and career will be dedicated to professional wrestling, specifically AEW. So for a lot of these, there's only 2 Saturday events on the schedule that I know of for the rest of the year. So it's much easier. I don't know if you have a kid, but it's much easier to be away during the week than the weekend. The weekends are when your wife's home, when my son's home, when we can all hang out. During the week, I see my son for a half hour in the morning, an hour and a half at night when he gets home from daycare before I go to bed. It's much easier to be away on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays than it is Saturdays. So my wife's excited for, at least in the short term, I'm going to be home more on the weekend. So especially once I finish up my independent commitments here going through the end of the year. So she's excited. I'm excited. I think there's a lot of cool stuff to come, but I'm most excited to not have to balance my wrestling hobby with the day job. For the first time ever, wrestling's not my hobby. Wrestling's my job.
Nice.
I can dedicate all my energy, my professional energy towards it for the first time in 18 years of being involved with pro wrestling.
What is your day job?
It was previously and is for a couple more weeks. I worked at a advertising agency in marketing for pharmaceuticals. I've been doing that for several years. I used to print T-shirts. I used to have paper routes. I used to write movie theaters, whatever it was to, pay the bills and fund the wrestling hobby. Now the wrestling job's going to fund my other hobbies, which are pretty much minor league baseball and going to Weird Al concerts. So hopefully the budget can sustain.
Absolutely. The events in your life, is there anything that outside of wrestling you feel has prepared you for this moment coming up?
I think it's just a bunch of little mini steps. The first time training, first time taking a bump in the ring, the first time performing as a ring announcer, the first time refereeing a match, the first time traveling to a new state, traveling to a new country, performing in front of a big crowd. Like, just all these little steps kind of prepared me for this. It wasn't, an overnight sensation by any means, but all these experiences wrapped into one have kind of prepared me for what I think is about to come. So yeah, a bunch of little mini steps. I learned so much from Mike Quackenbush at Chikara, helping with a lot of the day-to-day operations and behind-the-scenes stuff. Kind of prep me for my other role at AEW, which is still evolving. But yeah, it's just little by little. I think all these little bits packaged me up and made me ready for this big dance.
What does a day like for a referee look like?
Well, I'm not really sure yet, but at previous AEW events, it's been, flying into town. Call time is, anywhere between 5, 6, 7, 8 hours before the event starts. And then it's kind of some sitting around and waiting, some assisting where things need assisted. And then it's, going to work and making sure you're where you need to be when you need to be there for your matches and for the big event.
Now, you've also done commentary in your past. Here on A Shot of Wrestling, we're just starting to get involved in that and doing it for some independent promotions in our area. What is your advice for someone who's just starting out in commentary?
Study people that you respect, that you think are great at it. Obviously, JR is a go-to answer. Mike Tenay is a great play-by-play announcer. Joey Styles doing it by himself. I would just say practice. Take a match that you love. One that you've, maybe watched a million times. Maybe when no one's listening, just do it by yourself. Record it. You hear people saying to cut promos in the mirror, cut promos when you're driving in the car. I think that goes a long way for commentary. Record yourself, listen to it back. Maybe find someone that you trust and have them listen to it for you. And you'll get feedback and you'll just get better. Practice makes perfect. I mean, there's no such thing as perfect maybe, but practice definitely makes improvement, I would say. So just get as many reps in as you can, and it'll come. It'll get there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hey, how did your course get started with the referee side versus the commentary side? When did you make that decision to go all in for referee?
Well, I have 2 left feet. I was miserably uncoordinated. I played, the league mandated minimum 2 innings in Little League baseball. Not a very athletic guy. I also was a little worried about messing with my body. When I broke into wrestling, when I started training at Chikara and I decided to sign up in March of 2002, there was a lot of fallout from kind of what ECW had done to the business. A lot of concussions, a lot of, guys that had, drug addictions and stuff. And that, especially as an impressionable 18, 19-year-old kid, that really scared me. So not to say I couldn't have become a wrestler because of those reasons, but that sort of stuff really stuck with me and it worried me. And I decided that maybe it would be a little bit better for me to stick to refereeing. A little less physical. I still get to attend all the events. I get a better than front row seat for every, all these matches. I might make a little bit of money eventually. It took a while, but I did. And that was a much safer, easier decision for me. When I decided to do that, when I signed up for Chikara, the Wrestle Factory had existed, but no events had taken place yet. So I think they really didn't know what to do with me. So I just started doing wrestling training until I was ready to be a referee in front of a crowd. I was ring announcing on the first few Chikara events. The more hats you wear, the harder it is to get rid of you.
Very true.
I just tried to start wearing all the hats, starting, help out with some travel decisions and getting people where they need to go. And then when Chikara adopted live commentary in 2005, there were only a few people in-house that really kind of knew the product inside and out. And I was one of them. I was lucky enough to get paired with Dave Prazak early on, who's another great play-by-play commentator based out of Chicago. He's also the promoter for Shimmer Women Athletes. I met him at IW Mid-South. I got to do commentary with him. I learned a lot from him. He came along for the first couple Chikara events, and we were off to the races. We were off and running. So, especially back in those days, I would wear a lot of hats on one day alone at a Chikara event. Practice made perfect. I'm sure the first ones weren't so great, but I learned what worked. I learned who I had chemistry with. I learned certain things I could say to certain people and alley-oop them for a response. And all the chips kind of fell where they may, so to speak.
Speaking of chemistry, is there any people that you love the chemistry you've already established with them?
In the ring, Eddie Kingston's a guy that I definitely have been able to play off of for years, both in commentary and in the ring. I'm a big fan of my favorite wrestler in the world right now is Orange Cassidy. I'm not kidding. A big fan of back in the day of Smooth Sailing Ashley Remington and Archibald Peck in Chikara rings. Anytime I got to share a ring with them, it was a good day at the office. And I'm looking forward to a lot of what is announced and what's not announced on September 7th for Chikarasaurus Rex. I think we'll have can't remember the last time we've had 15 matches on one card, so it's going to be pretty rad.
Yeah, it's wild. And speaking of which, it is coming up here at A Shot of Wrestling. We're your social media ambassadors. We're bringing you week-to-week interviews with a lot of Chikara's finest. You are definitely one of those individuals. We have to ask you, because it is A Shot of Wrestling, can you share with us a story where alcohol may have made you make a poor decision?
There was a karaoke bar called Downey's. It's since closed, but it's at the end of South Street. I used to live on South Street in Philadelphia. It was 3 blocks down from my house. So after Chikara events, we'd all race down and get to Downey's for, whatever minutes were left until last call. And many nights last call was a tangible decision. Sometimes it went to 2:15, sometimes it went to 2:30. This is before I was married, before I had a kid, and staying up late was a much more excitable concept to me. And I think that I probably made some questionable karaoke decisions that night. One that comes to mind is how much more difficult "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen is to karaoke. Much harder. Much harder than I thought.
Is that your go-to song?
No, my go-to was always "Shoot" by Salt and Pepper or "Living on a Prayer" by Bon Jovi. Those ones I knew front and back. When I go out of my comfort zone and try something a little new, that's where things got a little scary. So let's just say I'm glad that footage doesn't exist of some of those nights.
In wrestling, where has been the furthest you've ever traveled for it?
Probably England or Scotland. I've been lucky enough to be to the UK, I believe, 6 or 7 different trips, 3 with Chikara. My first one was in 2005. My most recent one was in 2017. Chikara did 3 tours over there. I was lucky to go to Wales and Scotland for Chikara events, which are available in our back catalog on chikaratopia.com. Super, super awesome. Great to bring the thing that you love to a whole nother continent. As far as domestically, I've been to Los Angeles a few times for wrestling. I've never been to the Pacific Northwest. I'd love to get up to Seattle, Portland, even the San Francisco Bay Area. Hopefully AEW gets me out there at one point, but I'm definitely trying to sort of referee in all 50 states. I believe I have 32 or 33 down, and I'm excited for the opportunity to rack up some more here in the near future, hopefully.
You've definitely had a lot of travel in your career, and it must be hard to find good places to eat. So where have you found the best place?
Basically, whatever the cool thing is when you go to a place, if you go to Texas, you have brisket. If you go to Southern California, you go eat an In-N-Out burger. If you go to Chicago, you eat a deep dish pizza. I'm a firm believer of that. If you go to Montreal, you eat poutine. If you go to Scotland, you eat Scotch eggs at a travel plaza, and they're disgusting. But at least you can say you tried it. I'm big on those types of experiences. I lived in Philadelphia for 15 years, but if someone comes to Philly, they want a cheesesteak, we go get a cheesesteak. You do the thing that made you famous. You dance with who brought you to the dance, and whoever the most famous thing is the most famous thing in a place for a reason. So I'm all about that. I always try, when an event's over or there's an off day, to try to drink the local craft beer or whatever the thing is that is the thing that everybody's doing there, that is not the Miller Lite or the Subway hoagie.
Well, we'll have a lot of fans heading into the Philadelphia area on September the 7th.
Great.
Which one would you recommend, Genos or Pat's?
I would recommend Pat's for sure. Genos has made some questionable ethical decisions in the past, and my wife's apartment used to be a block from there, and their awful blinding neon lights used to keep us awake at night. We have to draw the blinds. Really? All the way 100% Pat's. If you're on South Street, go to Jim's. It's maybe 6 blocks from Pat's and Genos, and it's worth the walk, I promise you. For sure.
Yeah, I'm a Pat's guy myself. I really like that. For some reason, the meat tastes a little better there.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you all the way.
If your career were to end tomorrow, I know it's just getting started, but if it were to end tomorrow, what would you like to be remembered for?
someone that left good impressions with people. When I would, go somewhere and come back, like, man, hopefully I leave independent wrestling and pro wrestling as a whole better than I found it. If I can help people out, if I can, make a couple people smile or make a couple people feel welcome, that's a big thing about Chikara. We try to be very, very inclusive. People that, have some social anxiety, maybe don't appreciate big crowds, always try to bend over backwards and extend the hand and make sure they feel welcome and that this is worthy of their time, and they feel comfortable in our environment, and they want to bring their friends and come back. So that's I'm really proud of that.
Well, Chikara has been ahead of its time, I always think. Before intergender wrestling, Chikara had intergender wrestling. Before people were using... We were doing
intergender wrestling in 2002. We were naming shows wacky show titles in 2003 and 4, definitely.
If someone who's coming on September 7th hasn't experienced Chikara before in the past, or hasn't seen the viral videos that you guys have had and a lot of the influence you've had on the wrestling scene, how would you describe the Chikara product?
What we like to call it the fun-filled lucha super party. It's more of an event, not just a show. It's a party. It's a happy time. People with their friends. There's a lot of Chikara fans that only see each other at events. You see them catching up before the events happen, and just kind of a welcoming, inclusive environment. Come with an open mind. Take what your preconceived notions about pro wrestling, which might be like the Ultimate Warrior screaming at you, or check that at the door. Come with an open mind. Bring your friends, and hopefully prepare to be entertained and prepare to be amazed.
Well, Bryce, thank you so much for your time. September 7th, Chikarasaurus Rex. I think you're going to make it to last call today, so just stick around.
Oh, boy, look out. Yeah, no, like I said, it's the end of Summer Spectacular. 15 matches on the card. Pretty much everybody on the entire Chikara roster, plus a few special guests. We have Mick Moretti over from Australia, fresh off right before his Battle of Los Angeles appearance. He's the number one contender. It's your first chance to see Dasher Hatfield unmasked in public since he lost his mask to Boomer back in Chicago. So much it's not even announced yet. I can't recommend it any higher. You're going to get the A game, the full-on, beautiful, wonderful, amazing Chikara experience on Saturday afternoon, September 7th, in the friendly confines of the Wrestle Factory, and we hope to see you all there.
And if we want to see more of Bryce, where could we do that? Give us your social media plugs.
I'm at The Bryce is Right on Twitter. I'm at The Bryce is Often Right on Instagram. I have a Facebook fan page because I met the 5,000 limit. I got a few indie appearances left. I got a few seminars on the docket. One in Philadelphia on August 16, one in Enfield, Connecticut on August 24th. I'm King of Trios is coming up before you know it after Chikarasaurus Rex in Reading, Pennsylvania on October 4, 5, and 6. So many exciting things. The AEW TV debut on Wednesday, October 2nd on TNT, 8 p.m. every Wednesday night. So much excitement coming, and I hope to have you and everyone else along for this fun ride with me and Chikara and AEW.
Again, congratulations on your recent success. Great things do happen to good guys, and you're one of them. So thank you so much for joining us here on A Shot of Wrestling. And like I said, stay tuned. We got last call.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Well, there you have it, everybody. Our conversation with senior official of Chikara, Bryce Remsburg, and newly signed official to AEW. This guy is not just living the American dream. He is living the professional wrestler's dream. To be able to have been able to balance for so many years the shoot job with family life, with trying to create a career out of this passion of professional wrestling. A lot of what everybody who we've talked to in these interviews has been trying to do. That man just signed a multi-year contract with AEW, and just like to say congratulations and thank you for letting a lot of us who are still in the grind, who are still struggling to make something happen out of this passion and make it more than just a hobby, and know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And that light to you, my friend, it's to AEW. Who knows where the light at the end of the tunnel is going to lead for A Shot of Wrestling, but I'll tell you one thing, one place it is going to lead to, it's going to lead to Chikara, because we are the social media ambassadors to Chikarasaurus Rex on September the 7th. So stay tuned to our series of interviews here on A Shot of Wrestling, aptly named, might I say, A Shot of Chikara, for the next few weeks on our road to Chikarasaurus Rex. But interviews, they're just part of the conversation here at A Shot of Wrestling. You could follow us on all forms of social media, on wherever you get your podcast, because you can listen to our weekly podcast hosted by Michael J. Putty and Mark Schwann, where they'll review all the information from the world of professional wrestling. So for Bryce Remsburg, for Chikara, and everybody there, I've been your host here on A Shot of Wrestling Interviews. Good night.
Hello, everyone. This is Chikara Senior Official Bryce Remsburg, and thanks for listening to A Shot of Wrestling. But don't close that podcastler device just yet. Stick around for last call.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I need to announce it's last call at the bar.
Oh. All right, everybody, we have made it to the end of the episode, and we're still here with Bryce Remsburg. You know, referees are supposed to be impartial, but today we're going to put you on the spot, Bryce. Today, we want you not to be impartial. We want you to pick sides in a little game we like to call This or That. Are you ready?
Bring it on.
And away we go. iPhone or Android?
iPhone, all the way.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke, definitely.
Marvel or DC Comics?
Ooh, I'm on the deep end on this one. Let's say DC Comics.
Heroes or villains?
Villains are more fun, I think.
Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels?
Ooh, Bret Hart all the way.
Xbox or PlayStation?
Ooh, let's say PlayStation from my No Mercy days.
Oh, yeah, buddy. I like that. Liv Morgan or Penelope Ford?
Ooh, Penelope Ford for sure.
Attitude Era or Today's Era?
Today's era, let's say. I have a 3-year-old son.
Raw or SmackDown?
SmackDown.
Twitter or Instagram?
Twitter for sure.
And finally, WWE or AEW?
AEW.
Thank you, Bryce, for joining us. I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more of you in the very near future.
I look forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Hey baby, I hear the bell ringing, hip tosses and body slams. Oh my. And maybe you seem a bit confused, yeah baby, but I got you pinned. Ha 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 ha. But I don't know what to do when I see them with that golden case. They're cashing it in. Authority all in my face. What is a man to do? Good night, everybody.